To me, you bring young people in through modeling, and the two of you are exemplars of modeling what it means to serve. And I think that is very impactful. I see it very clearly in both of you.
I think something else we get to do, and I know that I'm in a position that allows me to do this, but when I get a chance to explain an idea to them, like stewardship, there's such a thing as stewardship of power. You don't think of stewardship in that way, but we start using language from servant leadership and then identifying it and naming it when we see that behavior. And I think that empowers them too. And it's, you are such a strong servant leader. Look at the empathy you showed in this situation. You start using some of that language, and I think that helps.
And I think that empathy is really important. I've taught classes on global conversations and dialogue on diversity, and empathy is really important. And I think it goes back to a lot of what Jim was saying. When you're sitting in a room and he's in the interrogation, that empathy is so important. And we shouldn't confuse empathy with sympathy. We shouldn't confuse empathy with endorsement. Empathy is understanding your bias, checking yourself at the door, and then listening to the other side. It's hard, as I was saying. And what he was saying was exactly how we can bring anyone into this, whether it's students in higher education, people in the community, or people in the police department. Helping people act with empathy can be, in many ways, a gateway to servant leadership. Once you've opened yourself up to listening, to engaging, to truly understanding, you start to think about the ways that you apply these in other ways. Did I know what servant leadership was 5 years ago? No. I mean, I knew what leadership was. But as I came to MSOE, it's embedded across the institution. As I was working on a certificate in leadership through Lakeland, it's embedded in those courses. And those opportunities through MSOE and through Lakeland and just through my engagement on campus really helped me see, like, oh, so this is leadership, that is leadership. And I think we have to challenge ourselves to think about what is leadership, what is empathy, and correcting ourselves when we misunderstand or correcting others, and just guiding them through that process, letting them know that it's okay to be wrong because we're all human. I think that that's a key piece.
I'll just add, just because you brought up the empathy part, because I'm a huge believer in empathy. And when I teach about investigations and interrogations, that's probably, with the exception of listening, those are the two top principles I really focus on. And when you think about an interrogation, in mine especially, they did terrible, terrible things. And they might be upset, they might be crying. And what I told younger detectives is, I'm not asking you to feel sorry for them. They've done what they've done, and they're going to pay the consequences. However, if you're going to connect with this person, you're going to have empathy. You're going to have to see the world through their eyes. You're going to have to understand what they're facing, because that's their reality. And now moving forward in less of the interrogation role, also with coworkers. And when I deal with a person or a group of coworkers that are upset, got to have empathy to understand their frustrations.